was in reality a very simple and unassuming man with a subtle sense of humor. It was an unspoken arrangement between the two of them to meet on Sundays at 9 a.m. at Ray's residence on Bishop Lefroy Road, Kolkata. Ray would invite Robert over for private screenings of his latest films and welcomed comments on them. But this happened only after the friendship had cemented, for in the early days of their dialogue, Ray's shyness prevented him from talking about his own films. He was in reality very full and unassuming man. Unassuming means very humble, very modest man with little sense of humor. It was mutual understanding arrangement to meet on every Sunday at 9 a.m. Okay. Robert used to meet Ray at that time only at Ray's house only. Seth Ray invited Robert to his own house to watch the screening of the films. He used to ask him about the feedback of the film. ఎలా ఉంది ఏంటి అని అనమాట. ఐ థింక్ యు నో వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఫీడ్బ్యాక్, దాని గురించి బాగుందా లేదని చెప్పడాన్ని ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ అంటాం. ఓకే, దిస్ హ్యాపెండ్ ఓన్లీ ఆఫ్టర్ దేర్ ఫ్రెండ్షిప్ బికేమ్ స్ట్రాంగ్. He was shy of giving compliments, said Robert. To Robert, the greatest mark of Ray's appreciation for him was that he often addressed the French-speaking priest. He feels shy to receive compliments. He used to address his friends in Bengali. Ray knows either English or Bengali, but Robert does not know English, and so he speaks to him in Bengali only. This was taken as a great mark of appreciation to Robert. He treated him as his family member. He was even shy of receiving compliments, said Robert. To Robert, the greatest mark of Ray's appreciation for him was that he often addressed the French-speaking priest Bengali in spite of lack of elegance in that language and the fact that Ray knew both English and Bengali so well. He feels shy to receive the compliments. He used to address his friends in Bengali. Ray knows either English or Bengali, but Robert does not know English, and so he speaks to him in Bengali only. This was taken as a great mark of appreciation to Robert. He treated him as his family member. Screenplay scripts were an art by themselves, Robert says, handwritten in Bengali with notes in English for his set designer with sketches here and there and occasional staff notation of fragments of music. One Sunday morning, Robert found Ray in a disturbed mood. A few well-known personalities of the city had visited him earlier to go through some of his manuscripts. After they left, Ray found the Charulata screenplay missing. Ray was almost sure who the culprit was. I asked him whether he was planning to take any action, and he said no, and explained to me that he did not want to hurt the reputation of the person. I was absolutely stunned by his humane concern, said Robert. Screen manuscripts are an art with sketches here and there. One day, when he went to his house, he was in a disturbed mood. Some well-known people came to his house to see his screenplays. After they left, he found the screenplay of Charulata was missing. They were very well-known personalities. Okay, he was planning to make that film. He came to know who the culprit was. Who did that? Culprit means who did that crime. But asked whether he was to take action, and he said no. He did not want to take any action. He said that he did not want to hurt the reputation of the person who came to his house. though they take away the screenplay. Okay, here I is referred to Gaston Roberts. He was stunned to hear that answer from him for his humane concern. He neither wants to complain against them nor to take any action on that person. Though they had damaged his work, he didn't want to hurt them. That is his characteristic. Rabindranath Tagore raised his time like a colossus. Roberts writes, it is as if all Bengal was in Manikda. The rich and the poor, the powerful and the humble, the peasants and the city persons, children, teenagers, adults and old people, men and women. Satyajit Ray is compared to Rabindranath stood walking through the time. It means spending life like a colossus. Colossus means a person who is giant, that is, who is larger than his life. అంత గొప్పవాడు అనమాట. Tagore is not a common man. He is a world famous person. Okay, such people are called colossus. We can see all of them Bengali in Manikda. Manikda అనేది వాళ్ళ ఫ్రెండ్స్ ముద్దుగా పిలుచుకునే పేరు అనమాట. So he is much larger than simply as a person. So only he is compared to Rabindranath Tagore. Philosophic to fields took off where Tagore signed out. If one compares the last major prose piece by Tagore, Sabyatar Sankat, which he wrote at the beginning of the Second World War, which contains his immortal dictum that in spite of what was happening, it would be a sin to lose faith in man. And he compares Ray to Tagore philosophically also. That means the way they think. Ray took off where Tagore signed out. That means where Tagore stopped his work, from there Ray started his work. So this is the continuation of the thought process of Tagore. Philosophically also there was similarity between Tagore and Ray. Tagore's last writing was Sabyatar Sankat. It's a novel written by Ray. This prose actually describes the crisis of civilization when actually World War II was going on. Man should not lose faith in himself. That was the main thought idea that was given in that prose. The same idea is in the last three films of Ray. The last three films of Ray, Shatru, Seka Prasaka and Agantuk, the analogy becomes clear. In these three films, Ray was at his most personal, and when some critics saw the films as didactic and verbose, he felt deeply hurt. For in these last films, Satyajit was directly talking to us, conveying his personal message on society and civilization. If the impulse that motivated his earlier films was aesthetics, in the last three it was self-expression, and there we were denying him his right to speak. As the saying does, no one is a prophet in one's own country, said Roberts. An agnostic throughout his life, it is possible. Roberts feels that in the face of death, Ray was searching for an answer. This was suggested by some of the music that he used in Seka Prasaka. Last themes of Ray, Shatru, Seka Prasaka and Agantuk. These films are about the same thing. Man should always have faith in himself. These are the golden words which we must follow. When we have faith in us, we can gain anything. Okay, when we have faith in us, we can gain anything. మనలో మనకు నమ్మకం ఉన్నట్లయితే మనం దేన్నైనా కూడా సాధిస్తాం. ఇది గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటే చాలా మంచిగా ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. Last films of Shatru, Seka and Agantuk. These films are about the same thing. Man should always have faith in himself. These are the golden words which we must follow. When we have faith in us, we can gain anything. మన మీద మనకు నమ్మకం ఉన్నట్లయితే మనం దేన్నైనా కూడా సాధించగలం. ఓకే, మన మీద మనకు నమ్మకం ఉంటే మనం దేన్నైనా సాధించగలం. జీవితంలో ఇది బాగా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. ఓకే. In this way, analogy between Tagore and Ray's work is established. So, both of them had the same philosophy. These last three films of Ray was at his most personal. Most personal means he was making the from what is depth of thought. When the critics saw these films, they said that the films are didactic and verbose. Didactic means something which teaches us moral. Okay. Verbose means using of more words than required. When Ray heard that, he was deeply hurted for in these last three films. Eventavi Ganasetru, Saka Prasaka and Agantuk. Okay. In these three films, he was directly talking to us, conveying his personal message on society and civilization. If the impulse that motivated his earlier films was aesthetics, in the last three films it was self-expression. First films were for aesthetic reason. Aesthetic means beauty of the heart, not heart, art, A-R-T. He was a director. He wanted to make great films, but the last three films he only wanted to express his inner feelings. The critics always spoke negative about him. As the saying goes, no one is a prophet in one's own country, said Robert. Prophet means religious preacher anamata. Okay. Preaches thing in country. చెప్పింది ఏది కూడాను నమ్మరు అనమాట. అగ్నోస్టిక్ మీన్స్ ఏ పర్సన్ హూ హ్యాస్ ఎ డౌట్ అబౌట్ ద ఎగ్జిస్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ గాడ్. దెర్ ఆర్ త్రీ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్: theist, atheist and agnostic. Theist means a person who believes in God. Atheist means a person who doesn't believe in God. And agnostic means who has doubt in the existence of God. Robert feels that in the face of death, Ray was searching for an answer. This was suggested by some of the music that he used in Sakha Prasakha. He was to his death. Each time he was trying to find whether God existed or not. This thing was revealed in his music of Sakha Prasakha. The last time the two friends met, Ray was in hospital on his deathbed. It was Sunday and Robert, true to habit, arrived on the dot at 9 a.m. He had grown so weak that he looked frail as a child. I did not stay long. As I was leaving, Manikda said, "Bhalo laglo, it was nice." Those were his last words to me, said Robert. Last time two friends was in hospital on his deathbed. That is, he was going to die soon. It was a Sunday. On that day, he arrived to his house of Ray. But Ray was not at his house. He was in hospital. He had grown so weak that he looked frail as a child. Frail means very weak. Robert could not make himself to see him. When he was leaving, he said, "Bhalo laglo, it was nice." Those were the last words to Robert. Important fallout of this friendship was the establishment of Chitrabani, a communication and film institute, the first of its kind in West Bengal, which Robert founded in 1970 and to which Ray, as a token of friendship, lent his name as co-founder. Ray was in the first governing body and after a few terms readily agreed to be the institute's advisor. Robert arranged most of the initial funding from Canadian agencies. I had no reservations applying for them, for I feel richer countries in the West are indebted to countries like India, he said. For 26 years, Robert was the director of Chitrabani, and under him, the institute not only produced important documentary features but also became breeding ground for local talent for filmmaking. Beginning his fallout means outcome or result. What was the outcome of this friendship? The establishment of a film institute in Bengal. Till then, there was no film institute. It was in 1970 that Robert established the first film institute in West Bengal. Its name was Chitrabani. It was founded in 1970, to which Ray was, as a token of friendship, lent his name as co-founder. So, Ray allowed his name to be used as co-founder of Chitrabani. Ray was in the first governing body, and after a few terms readily agreed to be the institute's advisor. In this way, Ray gave his services to Chitrabani. Also, Robert arranged most of the initial fundings from Canadian agencies. I had no reservations applying for them. With that money he got as a father, he established the Film Institute. He feels Western countries are always indebted to the rich culture which Indians gave them. Okay, the institute became a breeding ground, a place where more and more new people can come, become directors and actors in the films. In this way, they helped the Bengali films. The friendship has influenced Bengali films physically and academically. Okay, more and more films were added because of this friendship. It developed or it influenced academically. Okay, the establishment of Chitrabani was only because of this friendship between Satyajit Ray and Robert. Today it is enough. Bye for now.